I'm accustomed to seeing?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, with all due respect, it kind of looked like us last year, trying to hit him, and that's more a compliment to him. But I do think he is a different athlete and a different pitcher than he was last year, just in an improved form. But, you know, he's always been talented. He's always been a competitor. He's always got a lot of personality he brings to the table, so it's just fun being on his side and seeing that progression in those areas he's already good at, and then also some areas that aren't strengths of his yet are kind of starting to become that.
Or some of those areas that aren't strengths yet but are starting to come in?
I think the biggest thing is just physicality-wise. I mean, he's in a lot better shape than when he first got here. And part of that was attributed to taking a summer off, a summer away from everything. But I think he's hungry for success this year, but also these kids start eyeing how long of a career they can have or what they could do at the next level once they have success in our league or just success at a high level of college baseball. Really, he did that a little bit last year as a freshman, did it a lot last year as a sophomore, and now he's kind of finding his way at our place. And again, I think when the guys realize that, they kind of realize the eating, the sleeping, the routines, the preparation, it's part of their job, because they know that their job is more than likely going to be playing baseball, especially for a guy like him, as opposed to coaching it for a guy like me.
Tony, what went into, I guess, starting the corner infielders? Is that more Andrew's arm? Do you see that long term?
Yeah, no, I mean, to answer your question, sorry to cut you off, Peebs and Andrew had been a little sore, along with about 6 or 7 other guys. It's kind of the nature of our schedule. You could see our guys did their work over the break. The problem is we get back and you're around the team and you have technically a month only by NCAA rule to prepare for the season. So everything's go, go, go. And you typically see guys sore in one area or another, especially with the throwing stuff. So we want to play for a long time. We hope we're eyeing things down the road that are just as valuable, if not more valuable than today. So just trying not to press the issue. And if you ask him or Peebs, Fish and Peebs in particular, and then a couple of our pitchers too, Thacker, I can tell, is one guy who's looking to break the ice and get out there too. We're going to be I'm going to be a little more conservative, so that if, you know, there's some added soreness, it's just because, it's not because we as a coaching staff rushed him a little bit. So, and then the other guy over there just played better than everybody since he came back. So, but there's been some other guys that have played well too. So we'll start a few new guys tomorrow, and we'll see what else we got.
You said he's played better. What has he done in scrimmages and preseason work that
came back with a different type of energy? You know, not that he didn't play well in the fall, but you could just see it. And other guys have had it too. I mentioned it in one of the sit-downs we had, or a press conference we had. Some of those guys have made the depth conversation a little bit more interesting when we're talking upstairs about guys. But then also he's just swung the bat really well. And some of them aren't even at bats where he gets a hit, or, you know, he did hit a couple homers in spring training period, but it's just more, you can tell how well he's seeing the baseball and how aggressive and yet loose his swing is at times. And he showed that a couple times tonight too, Manny.
Tony, you had the banner on left field. Aaron came out for the first pitch. But was there a thought to maybe not do that much to celebrate last year here for the first game?
Yeah, that was more administration, and marketing wanted to, you know, they did such a good job with that logo. They wanted to cover that up and unveil it today, and I'm not even sure what moment they actually did it, but our guys saw them put it on the wall and had talked about it, and then they'd go and peek behind the curtain or tarp they had over there. So our guys kind of already were comfortable with that. The timing of the rings was unique, but we wanted to get those to the guys ASAP because they've been asking like crazy. So we just kind of did an impromptu thing with the returning players and had to use mail for the opposing. And then Aaron Combs came in my office today, and I thought it was his brother. I had no idea he was going to be here. So that was kind of a last-minute thing too, and we wanted to honor him, and also kind of felt like a good finally put the thing to rest is kind of what you're getting at, is he threw the last pitch of last season and the first pitch today, and I don't know if that even makes sense, but for me it just kind of felt like a clean break, and let's move on to the new era, or just the new group, really. And last year does have something to do with this year. We've got experience. There's guys that have seen things that work, that don't work. Fans obviously take a lot of pride in it. But it is also a new story that the kids were excited to start writing today, and just chapter 1.
Tony, can Liam changing his body? It looks like Tanner fits that same kind of. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, he just looks. He looks better physically, but he looks like he's he just is moving more athletically, if that makes sense. I mean, Frank's got a knack for getting guys to be efficient with their delivery, but just the way he walks around and the way he moves is just more athletic, and I think he's in a good spot with that. And I mean, Beth is our nutritionist, and she's an absolute superstar. And we always used to give so much credit to Q because it was new to the ball fans seeing guys so physical like they are, and Q gets credit for that. But now it's kind of become, I won't say Batman and Robin because I don't know who the heck's Batman's better than Robin. So it's kind of more 1A, 1B with those two. But I really think they had a lot to do with the success of last year's team down the stretch because we did play a lot of games. If you count Hoover and everything, and you saw guys getting stronger as they go. So whether it's those two helping him or him just being ambitious, I think he's another one of those guys. It's like maybe instead of sitting behind a desk, I might be able to do this for a couple years, if not more, in the big leagues, and maybe that's motivating.
So you talk about flipping the page and moving on from last year. In a sport where you always have so many new guys on a team in a given year, can that maybe be a little easier to do because you're not as reminded of it every day?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even joked, I've just kind of said it. With the portal and the draft being at the end of the summer, opening it up for sophomore draft eligible guys, and then just added turnover for a couple other various reasons, it's almost like more junior college level where you have that type of turnover, not quite, but that's kind of what it seems like a little bit. But yeah, I think the other thing that makes it easier to turn the page, I think this group did it a long time ago, and this is a big compliment to our fans. It's just kind of in a back channel way. They've asked for so many different things and appearances and celebrated so many different things, and our guys have signed stuff. I think a while back our guys were kind of like, all right, we like it, we're not complaining, but let's move on to what business we got in front of us.
What did you like about Tanner? Why does his stuff pair well with Doyle?
Yeah, well, I don't know that it's your question, but the thing I liked about him tonight, a few of my favorite things were the fact that he got out there after that long inning and was just filling it up. Kind of looked the same after a long stretch there. And during that long inning, Hunter High went straight to Ariel and said thanks for the opportunity. Basically, with 2 outs, Ariel kept the inning going and gave Hunter High an opportunity to get that at bat. But yeah, getting back to T. Frank, I think a lot of times I stay out of the way too much, and it's like, wait a minute, how do we get from point A to point B with this pitcher? But whatever him and our Frank Anderson got together on, I just think everything he's throwing is moving a little bit more, but it's all within the zone. Because his ball's always jumped, as far as his fastball. And now with his off-speed pitches, you're seeing the movement from the side, from the dugouts, moving that much, but everything is within the channel or the tunnel towards the plate, which obviously that's what you got to do as a pitcher, is attack the plate and attack hitters.
What do you like about that Curly Keelan stack 1-2?
In the lineup, it's great. I thought, in the field, they settled into those 2 positions, I guess, for today. You guys have been to scrimmages. They've kind of alternated back and forth. That's what I wrote on the board. So that's kind of what they came up with there. But also they came up with the lineup on their own too, because they've been the 2 most consistent guys. Fish was in here visiting with you guys. He missed some time. So those 3 have been the most consistent. It's just Gab and Dean have more at-bats than they do in scrimmages, and they've been good leaders with how they're professional with their at-bats. They've obviously got talent to boot. So yeah, you like that level of consistency and experience at the top.
Which substitute impressed you the most today?
Well, Hunter High, I sure do like him because he's such a competitor and he's got a big heart. He was a big part of that. But I don't think he's capable of hitting the ball even 1 centimeter further than he hit it tonight. So I guess that's another backhanded compliment a little bit. But I like guys, and he hasn't even swung it that great the last couple weeks. He's capable of doing better for a longer period of time. That was 1 great at-bat. But I just like when guys compete every day like he does with a level of intensity that is considered game day, or I mentioned Hoover. It's an SEC tournament level intensity to everything they do, even if it's just a practice swing off the tee in here. That's who he is. So I like seeing guys like that get rewarded with the playing opportunity, and then it's more than icing on the cake, but it definitely is an extra layer there, bonus, when it goes well for him like it did for him.
You talk a lot about turning the page and getting this season started, putting last year behind you. How did it feel just to, be back in front of the fans and, opening that?
It was weird because, I don't know, scrimmages are scrimmages. You try and simulate it, but it had been a while since we played here, and you get used to the spots everybody's standing in, and of course you got a couple new coaches and there's new players, and kudos to our team, and they had some guys take some good swings and do some good things here and there too. It's hard on opening day. It's new, and you have a tendency to maybe try and do too much or kind of feel awkward or out of sorts. But I think now that's behind us, and you can get after it and play. But I feel like our guys will certainly embrace last year, that the guys that were a part of it, and I think maybe some of the other guys will use it as a little bit of motivation because they've heard enough about it. I think they probably want to have their hand in something, something special of some sort.
How important is it to start off this season with that comfortable maybe?
I think it was nice to get a bunch of different guys involved. It does help with the pitching, kind of joystick things a little bit. We don't have a full staff of guys that are healthy, and then also we wanted to, have scrimmages built up to the series, so we had some good healthy arms that weren't available tonight too. So you just don't want anything getting derailed, and when it's a margin of victory where you can kind of joystick and control things a little bit, it makes you feel better about the next couple days ahead, because it's great to have one night, but this team needs to, we're talking about this team's new journey and their own personality and their own story. To be really good, you got to learn how to put together a good full weekend. And if you play far enough, it's a weird weekend. It's 3 days in a row, and SEC can be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But you got to find a way to put together a good 3 days. And this is step one in this particular weekend.
Thanks, everybody.